Hello everyone, Mr. Alberto 23 here, and I'm going to be doing a tutorial for Wind Waker HD Any Percent for beginners who want to pick up this game. Welcome. Gonna be going over the tricks, and I'll be walking through the entire speedrun, the entire beginner route, currently as of June 25th, 2020. And I'll be explaining the tricks and what to look out for on certain things. And I have a data viewer, so you can see I have a data viewer to show my inputs. No actual controller viewer, but you can see the buttons I'm pressing. You can see my button presses. It's not fancy, but it'll do. So, welcome to Wind Waker HD. This game is not very forgiving as a speedrun, but if you put in the time to learn the tricks, it can be very, very rewarding. So I would not go into your first run without having looked at the route or having tried all the tricks, because this speedrun is not very forgiving, and you will see a drastic improvement if you actually practice the tricks first. So with that, let's get started. The fastest language for this game is Italian, just because of the text scrolling speed. So every language in this game was sped up by 4 times compared to the original version, except for Japanese. So Japanese actually ends up not being faster. So the second fastest language with that in mind was Italian. But because Italian is sped up and Japanese is not, Italian is the fastest language. But the problem with Italian is that you are required to have a PAL Wii U to run Italian, and so if you have a PAL Wii U, just set the language to Italian in the system languages. But if you have a NTSC Wii U, like I do, the fastest language for you is Spanish, because you cannot use Italian. So I have the game in Spanish, and so let's begin. So before I start, you'll notice that the first slot is empty. I'm actually going to copy over a file. You don't have to do this if there's already a file there, but I want to get a file on the first slot, and then I want to delete it. The point of doing this is that when you delete the file and then start a file in its place, you actually get a faster save, the fastest possible speed save for their very, very first save that you do in the game. So it just saves a little bit of time. So I keep that in mind. I'm going to make a file name. The length of the file name does not matter, so because it all displays at the same time. You can have a short or a long file name, it doesn't make a difference. So with that said, let's start. I actually have the task menu, but I'm not going to be using it most likely. I might use it once or twice, but you actually are not allowed to use this during a speedrun. I'm only using it for demonstration purposes, and if I need to reload a map or anything, I will use it. So with that, no further ado, let's begin. The timer starts when you press A or when you touch the screen to press the button. So, and then you want to skip the intro by mashing the plus button. I'm actually playing on the gamepad. The gamepad is basically mandatory for speedrunning this game, because gamepad allows you to equip items faster. It allows you to save warp faster, and there's a couple other things that aren't as major, but gyro aiming is pretty helpful. You can aim with motion controls, which is really nice. I turn gyro aiming off. There is a trick in the run that requires gyro to be off, and that is barrier escape. So regardless of what you, whether you use it or not, you're going to have to have it off at some point. So I'm going to start mashing text soon. When I'm mashing text, I'm going to be alternating between A and B for this text. There's other text that you want to actually be holding B and mashing A. The text that it's called quick text, holding B will make the text appear on the screen in one frame, all of it at once, and then hitting A will allow you to advance the text. And that is the fastest way to master that, but this text is slow text, so we are going to be mashing A and B like this. And I alternate between the two. So now that the text is up, we're actually going to not be doing the manual super swim. I do not recommend it for beginners. We're going to turn around so we don't face Hyrule, and we're going to side hop off the dock twice, like this, and then we're going to be heading towards Grandma's house. So we're actually going to be performing rolls, so you want to time the roll as early as possible for each roll, and I just time the A presses while holding forward. And I like moving the camera while I'm rolling. You don't have to do that. But, okay, so that was not a very good roll, but it's fine. So we're going to go in the house, and then we're going to go up the ladder and talk to Grandma. So this is kind of simple, basic movement. Things to keep in mind with rolls is that I do not recommend mashing rolls. That is the main thing. I do not recommend mashing them. I recommend trying to time them as quickly as possible. There's a 2-frame window for keeping the maximum speed for rolls. So as long as you're within that 2-frame window, you'll get the maximum speed for a roll. This game runs at 30 FPS, so rolls should not be that bad, but they do take getting used to. So we're talking to Grandma, getting the clothes. The reason we're doing this is because we need to leave outset, and this is the only other way besides doing manual super swim, which we will not be performing. So after talking to Grandma, we're going to save the game and quit. You see that I got a fast save because of the trick I did at the beginning of the run. Now we're going to start the game back up, and we're going to load the file, and that's going to put us at the start of outset. And so now we're going to roll backwards like this, and then we're going to turn the camera around. I just tapped ZL, turn the camera around. We're going to climb the ladder and talk to Hyrule. And then she's going to give us the telescope. So there we go. She's going to talk to us and give us the telescope. And this is all normal text, but soon we will see the text coming up will be quick text. So I'm actually going to be holding B and mashing A. That will be after this cutscene. But first, so we're actually going to be using the gamepad to equip the telescope. I'm going to swipe to the nearest button, which is Y, and then I'll use it and zoom in holding up on the left stick. And I'm actually going to then flick up with gyro right after this text. Like this. I actually missed it, so I can just hold up on the right stick. But if you time that correctly, you can actually skip the arrow text. I actually timed it too early, but that's fine. So after this cutscene, we will actually see our very, very first quick text, where I'm actually going to hold B. So you see I'm holding B, and I'm going to mash A. I do it with one hand. I actually hold B with my pointer and mash A with my middle finger. You can do it differently, but problem is you have to do inputs right after the text ends. So I actually want to be moving the left stick. So actually that's why I use one hand for it. But often I'll switch to two hands. So it's all about preference. So this text right here, I'm going to be holding B and mashing A, and then I'm going to then side hop off again. We're going to go get the sword from Orca because we need to go free Tetra from the forest. So there we go. Side hop off. Same thing. And then we're going to swim, and then we're going to roll back to Orca. So simple movement. Try to keep the rolls as tight as possible. And then after this, we're going to be starting the fight. If you can't read Spanish, I can give the order of the attacks. Oh, this is also quick text right here. So you can see I'm holding B and mashing A. All of Orca text is quick text, so I'm going to be holding B and mashing A. The first slash is a regular slash, so we're going to be doing regular slashes, just press B without holding anything. And then you see for these combos, for the first two are actually the same. The first two, I'm actually mashing the B button. The first two attacks, I'm doing them normal, but then the third and fourth, you can see I'm releasing the stick and then holding forward. This is a quick spin. And then a parry. I'm actually going to slash him right after I see the text come up so I can get a quick parry after this. And then I'll do a jump slash. And then another jump slash. So once again, the order for the fight is the very first one is a neutral B slash. The next is holding ZL and B, and then forward and B, then spin attack, then parry, and then jump slashes. So now we're going to save warp because we got the sword. And again, for the third and fourth swings, you want to hold neutral for the third, and then you want to hold forward for the fourth one to get a faster attack. So now we're going to go to the forest. So I pulled out sword, and I'm going to then slash the tree. Nothing too crazy here. Just try to make sure you cut the corners as tight as possible. So here, we're actually going to get a rupee here. That's important. And then... So, okay. Well, let's go back up. We're gonna pull our sword midair, and then we're gonna roll and get this rupee. So we're actually gonna spin the stick and hit B, and then we're gonna side hop into this cutscene. So that the Bakab moves away. Climb the stump, and then jump over here, and then jump slash up this log, and then roll up it. And then we'll start this fight. So this fight, what I do is I hold up, hit B, and then hit ZL right after hitting B, and then do a side hop, jump slash, quick spin. Like that. So what I did was I side hopped, and then I pressed B to do a jump slash, and then I spun the stick in midair. And what that does is it does an attack. It's actually the most powerful attack in the game. The jump slash quick spin utilizes a property in this game that doesn't exist in SD, and that's that if you spin the stick in midair, you actually get a buffered attack. It does work on SD, but the difference between SD and this game is that that attack that comes out after jump slashing deals 4 times the regular damage rather than twice. Because quick spins in this game normally deal twice the damage, but this is double the power of a quick spin. And so that's why, for these Bokoblins, they actually require 5 damage. And so a regular sword slash deals 1 damage. But if you then add on a quick spin, which is buffered out of a jump slash by spinning the stick, it deals the remaining 4 damage required to defeat the Bokoblins. So that's why I did that right there. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can just hit them normal. I'm just very used to it because that's what I do in speedruns. Nothing special about this cutscene, except the fact that Errol's getting taken by a bird, oh no. But, after this, the general route, we're gonna go get the shield from Grandma to go on the pirate ship. And then we're gonna go get Spoils Bag, and then it will start the FF1 part of this game. So my very first split, I like to split for the Spoils Bag. That is my very first split. You can try Sword if you want, but most people split at Spoils Bag. But yeah, there's nothing much going on at this part of the game. There's a bunch of text. And then a bunch of rolling after. So, after this, I'm going to take out my sword before rolling, because it's faster to take it out right before rolling. And then I'm actually going to be jump slashing over the railing going to Grandma's house. So, I'll take out sword, do a bunch of rolling up this slope. And then I'm actually going to jump slash onto this right here, and then jump off. Careful not to talk to that girl, she likes talking to you. And then we're going to go get the shield. So, we're going to do the same movement back up to the ladder. But then we're actually going to backflip off. So I'm just going to hold back and ZL and just mash A. And then we're going to backflip off. That's the fastest way to get off the top. Backflip over the ladder. And then Grandma's going to give us the shield. And then we have everything we need to leave and go on the pirate ship. So there we go. We are on the pirates. We're about to go on the pirate ship. I'm gonna jump off the side here because it's faster than going back the route we came. And we're gonna go talk to Tetra. She's gonna let us go on the pirate ship. We're gonna say yes. You see that's quick text right there. I actually was a little slow at it, but hold B and mash A there. And this cutscene doesn't have any text for a while, but something interesting to note for this cutscene, just something funny about it, is that you could see at the very, very end of the cutscene, so not yet, you can actually, if you look closely, you can see that there will be another copy of the actors for Link and Tetra. They'll just be floating above the shore. For some reason, Nintendo didn't realize that they put another copy of them on the shore, so they'll just be floating. It'll look kind of small, but if you look closely, you can see that they're actually floating above the ground on the shore as well. Some weird thing about this cutscene. But it's when Link looks back for the final time after talking to Tetra. You can see it. So, this text you have to mash for A and B. And then here you can see it. If you look very closely. So they actually were by the trees above the people that were waving. So we're gonna go on the pirate. We're gonna go to Nico. And then, so for this area, I'm gonna hold ZL. I'm gonna mash A to roll. And then I'm gonna hold up to roll as I fall. And then mash A some more. And then Nico has quick text. So we're about to start the rope game 1. Rope game 1, kind of tricky. If you fall down, you can reset the... If you're running out of time, you have a lot of time for this, but if you are running out of time, you can just push the button again to reset this area. I like to side hop right after Nico talks to me, but the main thing to note for the ropes, they're actually different than SD. In SD, the original Wind Waker, you want to hit A the bit like right after getting on the rope. But in this game, you actually want to wait a little bit before swinging. So you want to swing a little bit and then press A. Especially on the last two ropes, you want to wait quite a bit before swinging off them. Because the last two ropes, a little finicky. So I'm going to do a side hop just to position. And I'm going to be... See, I'm swinging a little bit before letting go. Here, be a little careful. Wait a little bit. Like that. And then we should be at Nico. This is quick text. Well, actually, no, it's not quick text. The last part is quick text. The very, very last text box he has, you want to hold B and mash A. But this will give us the spoils bag. I actually did not. I forgot to do it there, but... So, this chest has spoils bag, and then after we open this chest, Tetra is going to talk to us, and she's going to say to come on up. We're actually not going to leave the pirate ship normally. We're going to save warp. Because it's faster than leaving the pirate ship normal. So, now we're going to get on the ladder. It's faster to roll here. We're just going to climb the rope. Also, I like turning off gyro. I could have done it on the save warp, but I'm just going to do it now. I personally like turning off. You don't have to. It helps me because I like aiming with the C-stick instead of motion control. But it's all preference. It does not matter. But you will have to turn gyro off at some point in the speedrun for barrier skip. And you can turn it back on for Puppaganon if it helps you. It does help me for Puppaganon. I personally do not turn it back on, but gyro is pretty helpful for Puppaganon once we get there. So yeah, nothing much about this cutscene. This is the barrel launch cutscene. Believe it or not, everything up to after this cutscene was completely skipped with manual super swim. So the manual Super Swim saves about 19 minutes over this route. Quite a lot of time save, but it is a very, very difficult trick. In fact, it is one of the most difficult tricks in not only this game, but in the history of Zelda speedrunning. It is one of the most difficult, which is why I will not be going over it in the beginner tutorial. Also, you do not have to do all of the movement options I'm doing in this route. I'm just going over the main basics, and I can show off how I do the movement a little bit faster, but I will be doing the beginner route that I recommend doing. I will not be going over more advanced tricks such as manual Super Swim or bomb skip. So after this cutscene, after he loses his sword, we're actually going to be performing something called Gossip Stone Skip. You do not have to do this. It is faster to do it. But if you want to just trigger the Gossip Stone text because you cannot do this trick, you can just trigger the text. It takes about 15 seconds to get the text. But if you don't, I like side hopping after this cutscene, and then you want to roll onto the rock. It's a kind of a tricky jump. You want to roll against the wall so that he jumps at the correct angle to grab this rock. It's kind of tricky, so you don't have to do it if you don't want to. So there we go. Roll onto the rock. And if you're fast enough, you can make this cycle of the red rupees. I do not recommend going for this if you are not comfortable, but I saw it was fast enough. If you do not make the cycle, you want to grab the green rupees. The reason you need these rupees is for the sail. So coming up is window jump. I have a setup for this. You do not have to do this setup. But one thing the way you can do it quickly is you go right here, line up the camera so that the B button is on this wall. You can see the wall that I'm lining up. I'm going up the wall. This is the correct angle for window jump, and I hold up. And I roll while holding ZL, and he'll just go into the window. And then you want to go to this ladder. I will show the other setup for it after I kill this bokoblin. But so for this bokoblin, you want to trigger him by rolling towards him. And then you want to lead him towards the pot, which is all the way over here. And you want him to break the pot. So, like this. Come on, buddy. He's RNG how he moves, so he's kind of being dumb. You want him to break the pot like this, and then you want to pick up the stick. Hopefully he doesn't move like that, and you want to actually spin him off the area. So he's kind of being dumb, but he's almost there. There we go. So that should kill him. Yeah, there's no way surviving that. Well, hopefully he should be dead. So now you want to take the stick, and you want to go over here. And you want to back up right over here, and then you want to hit A to jump slash into the window, like this. And there you go. So that's the other way. Then you will head for that door. Well, real quick, if you don't want to do window jump, which is the trick that I did before, I'm going to show one other way you can skip doing it if you're not comfortable with that, with window jump. Or if you're not comfortable with doing the stick version, there's another thing you can do. You could instead back up. You want to face right here and back up kind of diagonally, and then hold up as you fall, and you'll grab this, and then that skips going inside. That basically this whole thing skips going inside through that door. But after we're done with killing the bokoblin, we go through this door, and so we're going to be swinging across over here like that, and then we're going to go through this door. So after this, we're going to roll straight across. And then this next room is kind of tricky. We want to roll past these moblins. You need pretty tight rolls to get past them, but in this game, you can just roll straight away from them. They mess with your camera, so I'm actually going to be changing my analog stick angle to be kind of down right as I roll past them. So it's going to change my camera like this. I'm going to kind of roll down right, and then I'm going to go around this wall and then roll up here. And if you're quick, you should get past them. If you get caught, you will have to redo that entire segment. For this next part, you can roll past this moblin the exact same way. I'm actually going to show another strat off that you can do if you don't want to. You can go up to him like this with it in the barrel. Like this. And then as soon as he spots you, stop. So he'll spot me. And then as soon as he doesn't look at me, take it off and roll away, and you're free. Instead of doing that, you can just roll straight past him. This one's kind of tough to get past as well. But But after you're here, you want to actually, for sidling, you want to spam the analog stick to the side. That actually makes him sidle faster. So I'm spamming the button, and then we've got one more left, and then we're going to go get the sword. And you see, this is why I took out the bokoblin on the searchlight, because I would have gotten caught here if I forgot to take out the searchlight. Because the searchlight guards this sidle, and you would have gotten caught. So this is why we take him out. He's mandatory to take out. And after that, we're going to go get the sword. So I'm actually going to be doing 2 rolls and then a side hop to grab it. You don't have to do this, but it's a little bit faster. And then I'm going to be slashing him 3 times. That's 3. And then side hop, jump slash, quick spin. So I side hopped, press B, and then spun the stick. And then now we can then go through the door. And that is Forsaken Fortress 1. So, I'm going to explain more parts of the route. It's really slow at this point. This is the slowest part of the route, because it's a lot of cutscenes and a lot of talking to people and sailing. But it's going to pick up very, very quickly after that. So I will discuss what the route's going to be like when it picks up. When the route picks up, it will be right when we get the grappling hook, because the grappling hook allows us to item slide, and item sliding is very, very fast, because you can gain infinite speed with item sliding, exponentially, to the point that you can very easily cross the game if you don't know what you were doing. So, with item sliding, we're going to be super swimming. We're going to be performing tricks to clip into areas. We're going to be getting items early. We're going to be getting upgrades. We're going to be performing door clip. We're going to be performing barrier skip. So it really picks up with item sliding. Basically, what item sliding is if you have any first-person item, the grappling hook is actually the fastest first-person item to obtain that allows us to perform this glitch. If you hold a direction, and then you pause, and then hold the opposite direction in the ESS position, which is very slightly outside of the neutral dead zone, he will then start gaining speed, negative speed, exponentially. And that allows us to super swim. It allows us to clip through collision that you normally can't clip through, because the game isn't normally supposed to be able to handle these kinds of speeds. A lot of tricks require item sliding, so it will be used a lot after you get grappling hook. But until then, not much. We're just rolling places and sailing. There's not much, because there's not much you can do without item sliding, and we're not performing the manual super swim, so we actually have to watch all these windfall cutscenes, and we have to sail to Dragonurst. But so after this cutscene, we're going to be buying the sail and then sailing to Dragonurst Island. Buying the sail requires freeing Tingle in this game, so we're actually going to free Tingle first, but we're also going to make sure we have 80 rupees. 80 is the magic number for buying the sail, and then you don't need any more rupees for the rest of this route. Okay, so after this cutscene, we're going to go on to Windfall Island, check our rupees. We want to make sure we have good rupees. So we currently have 66. You can get flower rupees here, so spin attack the rupees, so spin the stick and press B. And it's RNG what they give you, but they often give you a lot. So, yeah, so we got good rupees. We have 71 now. So, here, there's a blue over here, so I'm going to get this blue right here. And then we just need one more blue. So, but when we reload the area, we'll get another. When you enter here, I like side hopping twice. So side hop and then side hop again onto the switch. I didn't turn the camera, but you can just hold ZL and then it'll turn the camera. But I used a trick to make sure the camera did not move by holding any C-stick direction while I'm holding ZL, so the camera did not move. Which is a little nicer for me, so you can just hold upright and then mash A while doing that, and it works. It might require clawing the stick. I don't claw the stick to do it, but so I actually use different parts of my thumb to hold the C-stick and press A. But you can claw if it helps you, but I personally do not. So we're freeing Tingle once again because this is mandatory for buying the sail, and we just need the sail to get off this island. So after this cutscene, we're going to be having to get out of the menuing. We're going to mash A first, and then we're going to mash B after it changes, and then we're going to open the door and leave. So now we need 5 more rupees. I'm going to get the 5. So I'm actually not going to get that pot that I had before. There's another 5 over here, and that should be enough. So now we're going to talk to Zunari and buy the sail. And then we're going to go sail to Dragon Nurse. So there we go, we have the sail. That's all we need from Windfall. And then we're going to go jump. This is kind of a shortcut you can use to get to the boat. And then he'll talk to you. This is quick text right here, as you can see. I'm holding B and mashing A. Same for Zunari. And then this is normal text afterwards. And then I'm actually going to be sail pumping to Dragon Nurse. So when you pull the sail out, you actually get a boost in speed. So if you keep pulling the sail out over and over again, after putting it away, you'll gain a little bit more speed than normal sailing. You want to make sure the sail is out for long enough to actually get the speed boost, or else you'll actually go slower than just regular sailing. So you want to be careful with this, but this saves a couple of seconds. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. But yeah, we're just going to try to make a beeline for Dragon Nurse and then get the Wind Waker. Yeah, not much going on, not many glitches. There will be a skip that we'll do on Dragon Nurse called Rock Skip. We're going to skip performing all the exploding boulders by doing a very simple jump that lets you skip all that by just jumping on a rock and then jumping up to where the mailbox is, so that you don't have to complete all that. And it's quite a bit faster, and it's not that hard. And there's a easier method to do it if you are not comfortable jumping up past the rock. So you actually don't have to jump past the rock if you don't want to. You can blow it up. So it's all preference. But it is faster to jump past it, so I'll be going over that. Also coming up is quick text. So again, hold B, mash A for the Wind Waker text, for the very first bit of text in this cutscene. So I'm holding B and I'm mashing A. I'm going to still be holding B and mashing A. If you do not hold B, the text does not scroll as fast. So that is why I hold B. And then we can mash normal, because this is no longer quick text. And then we learn how to use the Wind Waker. The first part does not, you don't hold any left direction, you just move the C-stick, so up, down, and then right. And the next part, you want to hold left on the left stick while doing the inputs. So I'm holding left on the left stick, and then up, right, and then left, down. And then now we have the Wind Waker. We can perform Rock Skip. So we're actually going to not go the regular route. We're actually going to go directly towards the mailbox, and hopefully not a bonk. We're going to climb up, and then what we're going to do is we're going to first side hop up here onto this boulder, and then we're going to jump up here. So you see, I just jumped here. I'm not supposed to be here. And what you can do is you can jump across right here, and you want to jump kind of close to the rock, and you can skip all of that entire thing over there. But if you're not comfortable with that jump, because that jump is kind of finicky, you can just bomb the rock. So, and you can actually slash it like this, and then shield the explosion. That makes it blow up faster. So either one, whichever one you prefer to do that trick. Now we're going to talk to the mailman. And then we're going to watch the delivery bag cutscene. So there are a lot of cutscenes, a lot of basic movement, rolling places. So, just smashing text A and B. Nothing crazy here. We're actually going to have to do some kind of difficult menuing. In this area, we're going to actually have to be moving while menuing. If you're not comfortable doing it, you can stop, but it's slower to stop. But basically, because you can swipe and move items while moving, because the gamepad lets you do that, you don't have to pause the game. So it's faster to just keep going while equipping items. So it's kind of difficult to do that, but if you find what works for you, go for it. I like equipping, so I'm going to be equipping the letter coming up. I like doing it while Link is falling, so I'm going to be showing the movement and where I do things. But you can also do it while rolling, but you have to be careful while rolling, because you might not roll in a straight line if you're not looking at the screen, so it's kind of difficult, but it takes getting used to. So I would definitely recommend practicing this segment if you have trouble with it. However, this is nowhere near the hardest segment in the run. So if this is something you're having problems with, you should probably worry about it, but worry about other segments as well, because this is definitely not one of the hardest segments in the run. So we're going to roll up to Medley, and then we're going to go talk to her. She has quick text. I like timing this quick text, but you can just mash it. But this is just a habit I have to time this quick text. Either one. You can time quick text if you want. I just don't like timing. For some reason, I don't like mashing this one. I'm weird. But after this, you want to go over here, and then you want to roll, but release the analog stick, so he hangs like this. So you see, I roll, but I release the stick, and then now is when I like to equip the items, and then I fall and hold forward. That is what I like to do for the movement here. And on one of those rolls, I also pressed anywhere on the screen, like kind of to the left, to get out of the delivery bag. And I like to do a little roll here. I just mash A while holding upright to Kamali. And he has quick text as well. So, you just hold B and mash A, or you can time it. I actually know the timing better for Italian. This is on Spanish, so I'm not going to be timing this text. And then we'll go back. And then now we have everything we need to go to Medley. So Medley will now be in the cavern. You can actually roll up those stairs, but only if you roll kind of at an angle to the wall. You gotta kind of roll at an angle. And now we go to Medley. So we're on a cycle here, so you want to go kind of fast here with talking to Medley and your movement there. So definitely work on movement, because there's a cycle for the win that you want to be quick to make. It's hard on Spanish to make. You got to be pretty quick. On Italian, it's fairly easy because Italian text scrolls faster. But for Spanish, you want to go pretty quick because the wind will be in that perfect direction right after you finish this text to throw her. So I'll just be mashing A and B. I'll pick her up as quickly as possible and then go on the rock and throw her immediately. Like that. And there you go. Now she'll give us the bottle, and now we'll have the bottle. So now we'll start the Dragon Roost Cavern segment of the run. And this is a lot of basic movement, a lot of little optimizations, but they add up quite a lot. So practice your DRC movement if you are struggling with it. So we're going to equip the bottle while moving, and then that's not the bottle. There we go. It's kind of hard, but now we want to roll onto this rock and then jump from the rock to the ladder, like this. And then we want to go water one of these flowers. The trick for this trick right here is that, if you see, it has to do with where you throw the bomb. So if I'm too far forward, like this, that's going to fail because it goes past the boulder. If I'm too far back, like this, it'll go too shallow. So it all has to do with where you throw it. So right here, this should work. So if you throw the bomb at the correct position, it will blow up the boulder. It has nothing to do with when you throw the bomb flower. It has to do with the position. You can cook the bomb flower if you need to, but that is not necessary. But if you find that helping you, you can, but it is slower. So now that we've blown up the boulder, we're going to go into the cavern. There's a trick you can do here that I am not going to be going over, but you can jump slash across the lava instead of the second bomb. I'm not going to be doing that. I'm just going to be picking up another bomb and then jumping onto the statue from the right to the left and then throwing it into the second statue. And then we're going to go into the cavern. These stairs are finicky to roll up. You can roll to the right and then he won't bonk. But if you go directly up, you will often bonk. So if you feel like you're bonking up those, you don't need to worry about rolling it. It's not that much of a time save. So here we're just going to pull out the first block like this. And then we're going to go pull out the second one a little bit. And then we're going to walk around, pull our sword. We can jump slash over here. And then we want to spin attack this first bokoblin. Like that. And they had to stick. And then now we're going to go over here and jump up over here. We're going to light this first torch, and we're going to throw at the second torch like that. It's faster than going up to the torch and lighting it. If you're not comfortable with that, go light it. Don't throw it if you're not comfortable. Now we're going to go over here, pull sword midair, and go slash this barrier. And then we're going to roll over here. I like putting away sword before I start rolling because you're going to have to put it away anyway. It's a very minor thing. It doesn't matter. Well, not if I go pick that up. But like this. And then we want to side hop over here and then pull out the block, roll, and then we want to roll around here. There. One thing to note here, if you roll as this boulder is being exploded, you can roll while the cutscene's going, and you can go directly to the door. Here, you want to just move the camera to the right. So as I open the door, move the camera to the right, and then pick up this pot, and if you throw it like this, it'll skip the cutscene. Like that. Because the camera can't pan. And then here we want to go up to here, and then wait for the two, and then go. Now we want to spin attack this bokoblin to make him drop his sword. Like that. And then pick up the sword and throw it at this barrier. A lot of tiny optimizations you can see. Throw it again, roll up here. You want to be careful not to pick up that sword. Sometimes it's annoying. And then we want to go over here. Now what we're going to do is we're actually going to pick up this pot right here and throw it onto the bomb. This is the easiest way to do this. And you can actually roll as it's exploding. Side hop up here. And then we're gonna then roll to the bokoblin over here and spin attack him as well after he jumps like that. Pick up his sword, light it, throw it at the barrier, and then trigger the switch like that. And then we go out here. Careful not to fall here. And then we can go onto the ladder. This guy likes to hit you for no reason. Like he did there, it's RNG. But, so after this, there's a tricky segment coming up, where I actually recommend going for this trick, even as a beginner, because I know it's tricky, but, so for this part, normally you're supposed to just go across like this, and it is quite slow. You can do this if you want, but there's a way to skip it. There's actually two ways to skip it, but the main way I recommend skipping it is actually with a frame perfect roll. And I know it's frame perfect, and I know that's really difficult, but trust me, it will be worth it with time, because frame perfect rolls are used everywhere. So the very first frame of climbing up, you can hit A, and see, I actually failed it there, but if you hit on the correct frame, you can actually roll, and you can actually get a jump like that. So that was a frame perfect roll. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to. There's another way you can do this. You'd actually side hop and then jump slash. I'm not very comfortable with it, but this is another way you can do it, like that. I actually did the jump slash a little bit too early, but that's another thing you can do. So after that, you want to climb up here, get this bomb, and then you can throw it at the wall. That actually makes it blow up faster. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. Again, here you want to. So this is a little tricky right here. You want to roll, and then you want to side hop, turn a little bit, side hop again, and then roll to the blocks. It's a little faster than just doing the movement normally. And then here, there's another trick you can do, but it's a little tricky. If you don't want to do it, again, you don't have to. You want to go a little bit off to the side, climb the block, and then roll off to the side. Like that. And then that's faster than climbing normal. So rolling off the blocks is faster for climbing up. So I'm going to do it for this one as well. I'm going to roll off to the left, and then we want to slash these pots. Pick up the sword, pick up the stick, and then light it and throw it at this barrier like that. And then jump as it's being thrown. Don't bonk. Bonking is bad. Okay, so then now we're going to get this key. One thing to note also that I did not mention that I probably should mention is something called analog glitch. So if you climb a ladder and then you try to turn the camera, it actually won't. So I'm holding up and I'm turning the camera, but he's going in the same direction. Because you actually want to move with the stick and not with the camera, unless you hit neutral. So the way to reset analog glitch is to release to neutral, like this, and then it works. Like you see I'm moving the camera, he's moving in that direction. So that's how you reset it, is by hitting neutral. It's a kind of dumb, but you learn to get over it. So again, we're going to roll off the side of the block, and then we're going to open this door. And then here we're going to go up to the bird, and we're going to slash him with our sword. So careful not to fall off here. So we're going to slash him with our sword. There's another part where the camera can be really weird, so just careful not to fall. And then we're going to then slash this pot over here. Pick it up, light it. Simple things. There's nothing complex here. Light this, and then we can actually throw the torch at the second... Throw the stick at the second torch, and then side hop like that. So this next room is kind of complex. I'll go over what strat I like to use for these bokoblins. It's the fastest strategy. But it's really stupid, and it can fail very often. But the first guy... Jump slash quick spin him, like this. So I ran up and I didn't side hop, because I've usually been side hop, jump slash quick spinning. Here I literally just pressed A and ZL and spun the stick. And if both hits hit him, he just dies, which is pretty cool. It's a one hit death. Here then you want to slash this pot, roll over here, bonk here, and then hit both of them once. And then side hop, jump slash quick spin, unless that happens. But that'll kill both of them like that. So I'm going to go over this wall and why it's really, really stupid. So this wall, part of it you can't bonk, and that's right here. So you can't bonk this part of the wall, so don't go towards this part of the wall. So here you can't bonk, here you can bonk. But for some reason, Nintendo forgot to make this entire wall bonkable, so don't do that. After that, you can actually jump slash onto this table and then jump onto the ladder from there. That's a little bit faster. And then we're going to enter this room. This back hill is kind of stupid, so be careful. There's an advanced strat here in this room I'm not going to go over. But just throw the pot and jump on. There's another strat to do this a little bit faster, but I will not be going over it. And so here, we're going to grab the bomb. I like side hopping off like this. You can roll off as well. We're going to go get it. We're going to throw it at the boulder, and then we're going to roll right as it explodes. Like that. And then we can open the door. And then we have 2 more fights, and then we get the grappling hook, and then it's going to become crazy, because this is the most broken glitch in the game. So, we have 2 green bokoblins and a moblin. We've not fought a moblin yet. The moblin fight is kind of stupid. So I will go over the easiest way to fight the moblin. But for these bokoblins, I do 3 horizontal slashes, and then a side hop, jump slash, quick spin. Well, if it hits both of them. Hit him. There we go. And that should kill both of them. Now, just go ahead and grab the sword, because this moblin's really annoying to kill with a hero sword. Don't target him at all, because he might block your thing. Just walk in like this. So, look, if I keep going close to the moblin, he keeps pushing me back, right? So, right after he pushes you back, swing the sword like this. And then walk in. And then you can throw it, or you can just hit him. But you see, if you walk close to him, As long as he's not pushing you back, you can just slash him and it works. So now we're going to go talk to Medley. She's going to give us the grappling hook, the most broken item in the entire game, hands down. There's nothing anywhere near it. The grappling hook will be used very, very often. So if you are not comfortable with item sliding, definitely practice your item slides because this is pretty complex. It is a lot harder than anything to this point in the speedrun. So, after I get the grappling hook, I'm going to equip it, and then I'm going to save warp. Because we don't need to be here anymore. This is going to spawn us at the beginning of the dungeon, and then we're going to leave the dungeon, and then we're going to then save warp again to spawn at the beginning of the island. So here, we're just going to roll back out, and then we're going to save warp again. So, I'm going to explain item sliding. I mentioned it again, but basically the way to item slide is you hold a direction, you pause, and then you hold ESS in the opposite direction. So if I'm holding up, pause, and then hold ESS. So this is ESS right here. This is not ESS. This is neutral. So as long as you're holding barely the opposite direction, like this, he will go zoom, and he actually clip through the rock like that. So he can clip through things pretty easily. So this is pretty broken. The item sliding basics, there's a lot to item sliding, but when you're item sliding, you can actually steer with ESS. So you see if I move the stick right, he actually goes left. If I move the stick left, he goes right. The reason is he has negative speed when he's charging up speed. So that's something you gotta get used to, is steering around. But I'm also pressing A to cancel. Because if I keep charging my speed for ages, the game's gonna crash. Because I have too much speed. Or I might clip and then go way out, so far out of bounds that the game crashes. And that is not uncommon. If your game crashes, it could be because you went so far out of the ocean that there's no ocean left and the game crashes. I know it sounds crazy, but it's exponential speed growth. So, you can actually see, I'm actually going to prove the exponential speed growth. I'm going to charge for not that long, and I'm going to sword slash. And now we're nowhere near Dragon Roost anymore. And you saw how little time I charged for. If I charged for maybe 1 or 2 more seconds, the game would have crashed. That's how crazy item sliding is. You gain speed very, very quickly. So you got to get used to the speed gain. So when we're going to be doing super swims, you need to get used to knowing how long to charge them for. And so as long as he's in first person, he's going to be gaining speed. So we have to leave first person to make him stop gaining speed. And so the way I like to do it most of the time is by hitting ZL. And that makes him go to the left if he has negative speed, which we will be having negative speed. So for this part, I'm actually going to go to the back of the island to do this swim. It's easier from the back of the island, but you can do it from here. But basically, for super swimming, we're going to be charging an item slide sideways, so to the left, like this. And then we're going to hit ZL, and that makes him, so I'm holding right, and he's going left. And now he has speed, so if I gently lower into the water, he'll then start super swimming like this. And I can control him with ESS. You see, if I hold right, he goes left. I actually hit Fire Mountain there, which you want to be careful of. But I would definitely practice this a lot. There is so much to super swimming that you need to learn that I cannot go over, but I will go over the very, very bare minimum basics. And that would involve, first of all, going to the back of the island. So you don't have to item slide here, but I like doing it because it's faster. So I'm going to go to this rock, and I'm going to aim kind of over here. Pull out the grappling hook. Hold forwards, pause, hold backwards ESS, charge for a little bit, so like here, and then I'm going to hit ZL. So now I'm holding down, you can actually hold down ESS if you want to, but he steers not as easily on land with ESS. In the water, do hold ESS. So you want to get him to go slowly into the water like this, and then we want to aim a little bit to the right. We want to go right over here. I will show where we are going. We actually want to go to this island right here. This is Eastern Ferry Island. So on the map, that is actually, it is 1 quadrant south, 1 quadrant west. You can pull up your map by pressing the map button, or you can press L, it pulls up the map. You can see where you're going. Very, very important to use the map if you need to. This is, once again, 1 quadrant down, 1 quadrant left of Dragon Roost. If you need to slow down your speed, flick up and down. That's very helpful, but to maintain your speed, hold ESS and steer with the camera. Very useful. So the very basics of super swimming is hold down ESS, steer with the camera. He will go in the direction the camera is facing, and then once you get close to something, start flicking up and down. That makes him slow down because the stick is passing between neutral. Every time you hit neutral, you lose a lot of speed. Depends on his swimming animation. I will not go into that either, but it does make him lose a lot of speed. So once you're at this island, we're going to be performing a very, very difficult trick. It takes a lot of practice. We're going to be clipping into this island, an item slide clip. So we're actually going to be gaining enough speed so that when we hit this point right here, Link is actually going to clip under the ground and hit the loading zone. And so for this, you want to charge kind of over here. The position you charge matters a lot. Though the visual cue I like to use is I go forwards and I pause right when the dot hits. See this white texture? There's this like white texture right here. That white texture and this dark texture. Where they meet each other, that's where I like the dot to be. And I don't hold up. I make sure the dot is level because the dot cannot go anywhere lower than level. And so that's where I pause the game. And then I hold the best down ESS I possibly can. And then I try to go directly forwards into the mailbox. He's going to go under the mailbox. The mailbox doesn't mess with this at all. So I'm going to hold forwards, pause, and that's actually too far, so that probably won't work. And you have to wait for the water as well. The water can screw you, so be careful. So there we go, and then hold the best ESS I possibly can. And then that actually did not work. I didn't have enough speed because he didn't clip. He can clip in place, or he can not clip, and you can do weird shots. He actually dips below the ground, or it looks like it. He's not actually dipping below the ground. That means you have too low speed. If you have too much speed, I'll show too much speed. He'll actually go all the way through to the other side of the island. Actually, that was not too much speed. That was good speed. But it depends on your ESS how much speed you gain. So this ESS versus this ESS will gain you faster speed than this ESS. So ESS very much matters, and then your position matters because the lower you charge the item slide, the longer it'll take for him to go up there, and he'll have more time to gain speed. So after that, we're going to get the first upgrade. We need 2 of these. This is the bomb bag upgrade. So the reason we're getting this is that later on, we're actually going to get the bomb item, and this allows us to carry bombs, because we're not going to get bombs from the natural source. We're going to get it from an unintended source in the game, and that's just going to give us 0 bombs, but this lets us hold not 0 bombs. So we'll actually have 60 instead because of this. So this is very important to get, or else you'll just have 0 bombs and you can't use them. So after that, you want to save warp from this fountain. You cannot leave normally, or else the boulder will be blocking you. You can't do anything. Very important to note, we have a bomb bag. We do not have bombs yet. We will get bombs later. So now that we save warp, we're going to spawn on this island. We're going to do a pretty tricky island hop. We want to hop from here all the way to Dragon Roost. And the way to do it, an island hop, is you need to have the correct amount of speed that Link travels the entire distance in 1 frame. That's a lot of speed. It actually requires around 10,000 speed for this island hop. But I have a setup for it. You don't have to do the setup if you don't want to. If you don't want to do the setup, you can just charge an item slide like this, and then you just hit ZL when you feel like you have enough speed. I didn't have enough speed there, so I actually didn't travel far enough. Anywhere near far enough. But you want to be able to go far enough that you can save warp to the Dragon Roost Island. And usually if it's loaded, that means you can save warp to the island. So I quit without saving because that was not far enough. So you can either just charge an item slide and hit ZL when you have enough speed, when you feel like you have enough, because you can't tell. You can only time it and have a good idea, but you will never know your exact speed. I have a setup that doesn't require timing or a metronome. instead you can target the rock like this. See how he snaps to the angle of the rock right here? So it's this face right here, because this rock is actually more like a polygon. It's not round at all. If you go between right here and right here, you actually target this wall. And then you want to go over to around here, and we want to charge against this part of the rock right here. Between here and here, with that angle. So make sure gyro is off for this, because gyro aiming will make it so that you can't hold a consistent angle. And then this is kind of tricky. You want to do an up right item slide. So hold up, pause, down left ESS, and then you want to, I like pausing this. This really helps. Charge against this part of the rock. You'll see the camera dips. This means it's working. And then as long as you stay against this rock, this part of the rock, he will eventually clip. And he will go to Dragon Roost. And now you can save warp to Island. So I will save the game and warp. If he does not clip, stop the item slide. It did not work. He clips when he has enough speed if you're on that part of the rock. If it does not work, he's probably not on the correct part of the rock. Very tricky, takes a lot of practice. But I will move on now. So now that we have gotten the first upgrade, we're going to do another Super Swim, but this time to Thorne Ferry. So I'll go to the back of the island again. For this, this Thorne Ferry is actually in a different location. So I'll do the same thing, lower into the water as before. But this time, we're actually going to go... Oh, this is a lot of speed. We want to go more to the left this time. So this is actually... I'll say where it is on the map. It's actually 2 down and 1 to the right of Dragon Roost. So, again, you can look up, this is Thorne Ferry, you can look up on a map where that is if you're confused, but again, it's down 2, 1 over to the right on the map. You can pull up with L. And so, from here, you want to do the exact same thing as before, but the visual cue is a little higher, because this island is a little bit different, but it's the exact same trick, so I don't think I need to go over it. I like to look at this visual cue right here at the very bottom of the Y for the dot, but everyone else might have a different visual cue based on their ESS, because I try to hold a really good ESS. That time I didn't hold ESS, apparently. But this is a very difficult trick, so if you're struggling with this trick, you are not alone. So that was too little speed. Probably not good enough ESS. That was not ESS. That was not ESS either. Very difficult, might take a lot of tries. Even top level fell a lot, but I got it there. So now we can get the Quiver Upgrade. So the point of this upgrade is to have a quiver to carry arrows. So before, we mentioned we were getting a glitched version of bombs. Well, a glitched version as in, we're not getting the intended source of bombs, where the game gives you a bomb bag. Instead, the source we're getting doesn't give you a bomb bag, so you'll just have 0 if you don't do this. Well, same for arrows. We're going to be getting the light arrow bow, which does not give you a quiver. So we'll just have 0 arrows unless we do this, and this will give us 60 instead. But again, we don't have the item yet. So we don't have a bow yet, we don't have arrows yet. So we don't have bombs yet, but we will later. So now save warp again. And now we're going to do a very, very tricky swim. This swim takes a lot of practice because we have to actually swim against a pillar. And it's very tiny and very easy to slip off. So this takes a lot of practice. But what we want to do is, there's 2 ways to do this. One is you can time an item slide right as the water is coming up so that the water picks you up. I recommend this for beginners the most, so like right now is a good time. Actually, that was probably too early, or too late. So about right now, and the water will pick us up, and now we have enough speed, and now we can turn and go towards Forest Haven, or we can hit Ice Ring. That was too much speed. So that is the problem with that, is you have to time it very properly. I'm actually not comfortable with this method, but you can do this as well. But we're going towards Forest Haven, so want to get your bearings. Forest Haven is actually south of this island, so I like to go sideways and then item slide to the left and hit ZL, and then I like to hold ZL until he hits the water. But you don't have to do that. But you have to go against the pillar. As you saw, I kind of went too far to the side of the pillar, so this is kind of tricky. But you can see that's not enough speed because I slid off the pillar too early. That didn't work either. So this one takes a lot of practice. This is one of the hardest, if not the hardest swims in the route. There's one swim after this, it might be a little bit harder than this. But so we'll go in the water. There we go. Stay against the pillar. And then we want to slide off. And then we want to go to Forest Haven. Like that. There's a cutscene here, so we don't have to worry about splooshing. And by the way, splooshing, just to mention, there are quadrants you can just sploosh on because they load very, very slowly. And you have to be aware of them. I hit some earlier, you've seen. I hit Ice Ring. I've hit Fire Mountain. You want to be aware of this quadrant as well. It can sploosh you. Dragon Roost. Don't hit Great Fish. There's a cutscene there. Be careful of Windfall. So there's a lot of quadrants you want to be careful of avoiding. And so those are the main ones that I went over. So here we want to climb up here. And then climb up here. And then there's an easy way to do this clip here. I will show that off instead. You want to go turn around against this wall. This wall right here, not this one. So you can target the wall, pull Windmaker to turn around, or you can just sidle it. I don't think you can sidle it, actually. But you want to turn around so that Link's back is facing the wall. Pull grappling hook, and then you want to item slide it backwards. So hold down, pause, up ESS. And then you want to pause the game and start holding down. So that you'll actually clip. Downwards if you do that. So what we're doing is actually converting his speed to positive. So positive speed, he'll actually go in the direction you hold. The way to convert to positive speed is by holding the direction Link is going in. So if we're going backwards by holding up ESS, as soon as we hold down, he will then convert to positive. If you hold down too early, he'll just lose all of his speed. So you want to do it after the correct amount of time, but don't do it too late or else he won't clip. Or you might clip, but there are other tricks you want to be careful about this. So just hold down and he'll clip. Now you want to turn around and swim to the loading zone. You can see the loading zone up there. I'm going to swim directly under it. So you saw the loading zone. You swim forwards. Also, if you look at the polygon, see this texture right here where it meets this corner right here? See where these two corners meet? That means you're under the loading zone. So, but I got on the wrong side of it, so you just gotta go back in. And it'll pop you back up and you'll go into Forest Haven. So for Forest Haven, there's not much here. You can jump slash up the waterfall, or you can just climb it. There's not much you need to do. You can just item slide, which is faster, climb up, and then jump over here to this area. And then we can go to the cutscene. We just want to kill all the chews with the sword. There's nothing special here. And watch the cutscene. So we're going to bonk the stump. This is the fastest place to bonk, is right here. And then we're just going to slash and do a bunch of spin attacks to kill all the chews. You can charge a spin attack on the last ones, like this. Careful not to pick up the chew jellies, because we have squirrels back, so we'll just pick them up. And you don't want them because it's slow. So coming up is another pretty difficult trick in the run. As you may notice, the tricks are a lot harder with item sliding than they had been without item sliding. It's just the nature of item sliding. It's a pretty tricky thing to learn. It takes a lot of practice. So a lot of your practice will probably be in item sliding movement and also the zombie hover at the end. But coming up, we have a pretty complex trick known as door clip. And some pretty tricky movement. Also a pretty tricky swim known as Beetle Super Swim. I will go over what I recommend the most for learning this swim. What method I recommend the most. Also, after this cutscene, when we're climbing the bulbs, there's a trick called Bulb Skip, which I will also not go over because I do not recommend it to a beginner. It saves about 4 seconds, and if you fall, you fall all the way down. But basically, you can skip climbing one of the bulbs by doing a pretty precise jump onto the part of the leaf that looks like it doesn't have collision, but it actually does. But I will not be performing that either. So we're just going to climb this normally. There's not much here. So I'm going to item slide to the bulb because it's faster. Also, you're noticing I'm double tapping the start button to pause. It's just because it's faster to pause that way, and I'm comfortable hitting ESS quickly, but you don't have to do that. Oh, nice, I missed. So I'll be jumping to the bulbs, and then we'll grapple. You want to hold up as you're going through the bulbs so that he moves forwards. Then we're going to grapple this thing, and then swing, grapple this. And I will not be performing bulb skip. That will be a more advanced trick, not in the beginner tutorial. So we'll grab the leaf, and then we'll save warp. You can side hop past the leaf. I like doing it because he picks it up faster, but if you're not comfortable, just grab the leaf normally. You don't have to. And this last Korok text is quick text. And then now we can save the game and quit. So now is the hardest swim in the entire route, but it is also the final swim in the entire route. There are not many super swims. The super swims are kind of tough. Particularly the one off of Quiver and the one off of Thorne Ferry and the one off of Beetle. So for the first part of Beetle Super Swim, we actually need to reposition the boat because this is actually not a good position. We need to make a ramp into the water, or else we'll sploosh. We'll just fall and lose all of our speed. The barrel is not in a good position. You can see he's not actually making a ramp. If we move to the right, we'll just fall like this. So we actually need to make him move a little bit. And the way we can get him to move is if we move away and then back. So if we go behind this mailbox a little bit to the right of it, for a little bit, like this long, and then back. See how I moved back? Now he's moved so that is the left edge of his barrel is pretty much aligned with this corner right here. And that's a good position. So I like going onto the barrel, and then there are many ways to do this swim, but the way I recommend the most is actually, well, Beetle moved. Idiot. I recommend doing a method that lowers you into the water automatically, because the problem with Beetle Super Swim is that if you go into the water too quickly, you'll sploosh. And by that I mean you'll just fall. So if you just charge like this, and then you go into the water, you'll fall like that, because you have to actually go into the boat slow enough that it actually moves the boat down. So what I recommend the most is actually facing this way. It's weird, but Beetle, can you stop moving? But I recommend facing in the same direction as the barrel. So you kind of want to aim a little bit. So if the island is faced, if the barrel is faced, what am I trying to say? If the island is faced this way, you want to face a little bit to the left. Because when we're going to be hitting target, we're going to go to the right. We're going to do an inverted hop, which I'll explain what that is. And when you hit ZL, he'll actually go against the wall like this, and he'll lower into the water very, very slowly like this, which is exactly what you want. He splooshed there because Beetle's not in the right position. But that's what we're trying to go for instead of other methods. And then the other problem with Beetle Swim is that you have to charge against his barrel. It's not that big, but it's not that small either. So it's not that bad to charge against it. You just want to make sure that you don't fall off the barrel. And you can get a feel for the speed. I just like to go by feel for the speed. Definitely takes a lot of practice for all these super swims to know how much speed you have, to know how much speed you want. So again, roll away, roll back. And then for an inverted hop, you pull out grappling hook and then side hop and release target midair. You have to be very quick for this one. If you are not comfortable doing that, you can instead pull grapple right after a side hop. So get the grapple out and then press the grapple right when you land. That should give you an inverted hop. So now you want to charge an item slide to the right while aiming the dot kind of right here. And then you want to hit ZL and then hold nothing. So I actually fell off him. He's probably in a bad position. I will move him. He's a little too far forward. Let me move him. So the inverted hop, the point of that is that that side hop to the left and then pulling grappling hook, it makes it so that you go right instead of left. The reason I recommend this is because if you want to do it this way, you actually can clip with too much speed. Did I move him too far? I think I did, but I think this can still work. But yeah, I moved him too far. But if you get too much speed, you can just clip through the island like this. But this is quite a lot of speed, so you can do this method if you want. But if you're worried about clipping, you can do the method I recommend. But the gist is you're hitting ZL and that makes him go sideways 90 degrees so that he just goes in the correct direction automatically. But also in this direction as well, this is easier because you don't have to do the inverted hop where you side hop left and then pull grapple, or you can also just hold ZL and then let go of it in midair like this. Well, it has to be a side hop left. You side hop and then you let go of ZL in the air, so he pulls it out right when he lands, and that makes it so that he goes right instead of left when you target, because he'll fling to the side when you hit target. But also this way, so you want to aim around here, and then charge an item slide, and then just hit ZL. I actually went into the water by accident, but hit ZL and then just hold neutral, and then he'll go into the water like normal. Now you want to go around here. So I'm holding down ESS and just steering the camera. Wait for Beetle to move, and then move the camera so that you're just going this way. You'll slide across the island, and then we're going to go all the way to the top left of the map. All the way top left. And then we want to slow down by flicking up and down until the island loads, and then go to right here. So this is quite a lot. I would recommend practicing this a lot. There are backups if you miss this spot, because this is the only spot on the entire island where you can climb up onto the land and clip in. But there are other places you can clip in. If you see anywhere you can climb, you can clip in. There are also area fills, so you see there's an area fill right here. They're not area fills everywhere, so there's a lot to this swim. So I definitely recommend practicing this a lot. Ask questions if you have questions about this, because I cannot go over everything in the beginner tutorial, but I can show off the gist of what you are going for. We're going to Forsaken Fortress, which is the top leftmost quadrant. Also, you may ask, how did I kill my speed? I just rolled to kill my speed after swimming. There are other ways to kill your speed from item slides, but from a super swim, I just recommend when you're up on land, just roll, and he'll kill his speed. Like, he'll stop all the speed. Now we're going to aim kind of to the right. So, see this corner right here? I'm going to aim to the right of the corner a little bit. Not too far. This is too far. Around right here. See this, like, this kind of, like, white dot? That's this white dot here. That's where I aim for. Charge an item slide forward, and then he'll actually just clip in, which is good. And then we're going to go to climb up here. And now we're going to roll up these stairs like this. And then we want to actually aim to over here. You can actually roll over here first, but either way, we want to charge an item slide to the left, and then we want to hit ZL, and then we want to steer Link through these spikes. The reason you want to do that is that if you just try to do it without hitting ZL, you see he'll just get stopped by the spikes. Because if you're holding ZL, or if you're in first person, the spikes will stop you. But if you're in third person, the spikes won't stop you. He'll just go right through them, like this. And then you can continue the item slide up the stairs. And then here, I like to just pull the grappling hook to stop my momentum. And then for this part right here, there is a more complex form of movement for this that I will not be going over. But the more simple version, the fastest version I recommend for a beginner, if you are just new to this game, item slide and then hold up right before you hit the slope. This will convert to positive, and then steer up the slope and then cancel the item slide like that. This is the fastest movement that, other than rolling, that I recommend for a beginner. If you're not comfortable with this, you can roll, but honestly, if you want to roll, go run SD. So I recommend item sliding. I would learn it even as a beginner. Learn item sliding here. If you don't hold up, you see you clip. I actually hit the loading zone when I clipped, but he clipped and he went downwards, which is not good. But if you hold up, he will actually not clip. So let me show that movement again. Also, you notice the boat is here now. Now that the boat is here, I can actually save the game. I don't know if that would work. I think it would work. I don't remember if that would work. I know for a fact that if you're inside and you save the game, I don't actually know if that works. Let me actually test if this works. I'm pretty sure that if the boat is there, you can actually save into Forsaken Fortress. But let me confirm. Okay, that does not work. So let me, do not do what I just did. If you want to save at Forsaken Fortress, save inside of the quadrant. Let me load something. Yeah, he will take you back to Windfall. Actually, I will wait until he takes me back to Windfall. I was going to warp, but so do not do what I just did, or else he will take you back to Windfall. I apologize. This will take a little bit. Let me actually warp somewhere else. Where are we going to warp? Let's warp here. So if you want... So the gist of what I was saying is, if you want to save warp, you can save the game inside of the fortress, and you can spawn at the fortress. I wanted to test that because I didn't know if that worked. Let me get there again. That is a lot of speed. Let me get there again. So there we go. Going back to Forsaken Fortress. And this time, I will show you actually how to save the game. So if you actually want to save the game, save it inside the fortress, because there are tricks here that you can clip out of the fortress and then go somewhere that you don't want to go and then have to restart everything. So you can actually go in this door right here, and then I can save the game. And if I quit the game, it should, this I know for a fact works, spawn you at Forsaken Fortress, so that you don't have to redo Beetle Super Swim if you clip out of the island. So there we go. Now we're here permanently. We're not going to be going back. So again, I'll show off his movement. We're going to item slide it to the left, hit ZL, and then we're going to steer through these spikes around the steps, and then pull grappling hook again. Hit upgrade when we're here. Cancel item slide. Now we're here. So for this part, we're actually going to be doing an item slide slash. So we're actually going to charge an item slide into the corner and aim with a dot at this ledge. His ledge over here. That's actually where we're going to be going. And the way we're going to go there is we're actually going to hit ZL and B at the same time. So we're going to get enough speed, and we're going to hit both of them at the same time. And that's actually going to make Link go all the way here, as long as he has enough speed to go there in one frame. Now we're going to go off here, and you can actually item slide up here and go around here. You want to go kind of careful if you want to go around here, and then we want to cancel our speed here. So you can roll, you can pull Wind Waker, you can backflip. There's a lot of ways to kill your speed. You want to experiment with what you like, with what feels best. Now we want to go to here, where we're actually going to perform a skip. This requires a leaf, not right here, but make sure you have leaf equipped. Do not forget to equip leaf, you will be very sad. But you want to go between this line right here and where this diagonal line meets this wall. This is where you want to charge against. And you want to aim a little bit. See this white spot right here? We're actually going to do another target slash. We're going to hold right when we do this. So for the last one, I held all the way up, just to make sure that you know. I held up to do a slash because that makes him jump. So if I hold up, he jumps. So, but you could hold other directions besides up. So that's why we're not going to be holding up for the next one. So for here, I held up, but for the next one, I'm actually going to be holding right. So I hold all the way up, Z, L, and B at the same time, and he goes here. And then, so for this next part, we're going to be item sliding to the side, but we're going to hold actually right instead of up. And you'll still perform a jump. As long as you're not holding ESS, he'll jump. So we're going to perform an item slide to the left, aim at a little bit to the right of this line, this dark line. And as long as you're here, do not go up here. You will clip and go in the middle of nowhere if you're up here. So don't be up here when you're charging. If you're here, he won't clip. Charge an item slide, aim the dot right here, and then B and ZL at the same time while holding right, so he jumps. Now, while we're here, I want you to notice that there's an invisible wall. So if I go to the right, I'm going to fall. If I go too far to the right, I'm not going to go too far to the right, but I will fall. But if I go left enough, we'll actually go past an invisible wall, which has collision in one direction. It has the collision to the right, but not to the left. So I can pop to the left of the wall. And then if I try to go right, it won't let me anymore. So if I go right, it will work. I'll be able to go to the right because I'm actually to the side of the wall. Let me get past here again because there's a mini bin sugar I have to get over. Okay. So we're past the mini bin sugar, so I'll go back there again. So mentioning that there's an invisible wall. Let me get there again. I'll show what the invisible wall looks like. You need to know where this is, because this very much helps. Can we stop doing that? Okay, let's get back here. No. 1 second. Let me get back there. There we go. Okay. There we go. So right here, if I go left enough, you see Link is now past the invisible wall. So now I cannot get back to where I was, because he actually went kind of back in bounds, if that makes any sense. So I'm actually bonking the wall right now. So if I try to item slide against this, he will not move. So this actually forms a nice little corner, because there's an invisible wall up here as well. So if I go in here, I'm actually in a corner. So if I charge an item slide, we actually want to aim right here. We're going to aim and charge an item slide and leaf. And this is really nice because we're in this corner right here. So if we hit ZL, which makes him move left, he's actually going to get stopped by this corner, which is really, really nice. So this is where you want to be. Again, you want to charge an item slide. Make sure you're backed away from... In general, whenever you're charging an item slide against a wall, make sure you're backed away from it before you start charging. So I start a little bit back, and then pause, back, up ESS, and then ZL and B at the same time, and then leaf. And we want to leaf over this trigger, and you can jump slash the rest of the way, or we can just fall down. Let me go back up. There we go. Yeah, if you jump slash too early, you fall. So don't jump slash too early like I just did. But if you did everything correctly, and you don't have to use hacker, I'm just bad, you will end up right here. Do not go too far right, because there is a phantom getting trigger right here. So, right here, there is a phantom getting trigger. That is why we did that entire thing. Because if you trigger this guy, he will make your day a living hell. So, instead, I'm going to reload the map. We want to go around him. So I'm going to go back there again. Show off all the movement the way I'm showing it off. Go here. Hold up. Cancel. Go here. ZL and B at the same time while holding up. item slide up here. Very careful not to go too far left, because there's a mini-moon trigger over there. Stop the item slide, go right here. Item slide to the left. Go past the invisible wall. There we go. Oh, leaf. ZL and B, leaf around, and then we could jump slash the rest of the way. Like that. And now we're here. So the final trick of FF2 is door clip. And I'm going to put a little bit more time into it than I put into other things, because I really want people to understand how to do door clip. So door clip, the way it works is we are going to be clipping over here, right here. And when he clips, he's actually going to go downwards, and then he's going to go under the ground, and then he's going to, in one frame, travel from here to an invisible door that's under there. So that, well, not an invisible door, but it's actually under the ground. You can't really see it, but you kind of just saw it just then. I performed a weird shot so you can see it. Here, I'll try to get it so you can see the door. So you see the door. There's actually a door under the big door. A little door. That has collision, so we actually get stopped by it. So we're actually going to be going under the ground, because when you clip, you go under the ground, and then he's going to jump back up to under the door. And so this is very complex. I will show off the most simple version of the trick I possibly can, but I do have other tutorials up. So for this trick, you want to make sure gyro is off. Go into this corner right here. Now we want to, I like back walking into this corner, so I'm holding back. So that you see the dots bouncing up and down and up and down. That's what we want, so because then he's not swaying back and forth. Aim the dot kind of over here. So it's kind of basically in the middle of the door frame where it needs. This is kind of lenient. It doesn't matter that much. Now when it's here, I'm actually going to hold ZL and side hop. This is an inverted hop. And let go of ZL midair so that he pulls it on the first frame of landing. Now we perform an inverted hop, which makes it so that he goes left instead of right, because we're going to be targeting with positive speed. So we're going to charge an item slide forwards, hold down ESS, and then we're going to want to hold up. Now, as I mentioned before, holding up to convert to positive is kind of finicky, because if you hold up too late, you won't get a weird shot. I actually got a weird shot there. But if you do it too late, this is what will happen. And then he'll just go all the way down, which is not good. You do not want that. I hope I can pause. Yeah, okay. So, do not hold up too late. But if you hold up too early, this is what will happen. That's not what I meant. It will just stop his speed. So, you gotta do it early. You want to hit up pretty early, because you want to get the camera to dip. So see the camera dips like this? That is important, because it's gonna let us know when to hit ZL, because this is a speed dependent trick. So we're gonna see the camera dip, and if you hit up at the correct time, that was too early. If you get it at the correct time, the camera will start dipping. Again, that was too early. See, the camera's dipped, and then the dot comes back up. Another thing that's important, so again, side hop, just to make sure, don't forget to do it, but I'm probably not going to remember to do it every single time. You want to make sure your up angle when you hold up is about up left, around here. If it's too far to the right, this is what will happen. Well, you might go off from the door, but it'll mess up the visual cue for the camera dipping. You'll see the background for a while like this. And what'll happen is when you do this trick, it'll fail because you'll have too much speed. So make sure it's up left, but not too far up left, or else you'll get like a really quick dip like that. So your up angle is kind of important, but it's not that important. It's not that precise. Anyway, so as the dot is dipping, you actually want to pause buffer, so the dot will go off the bottom of the screen. Then it'll start coming back up. Like this. It might go back on the screen for a frame, that doesn't matter. What matters is that it comes up, and you want it, so this is a little complex, but you want it so that the dot has been on the screen for 3 frames. On the third frame, the dot will be in the center of the screen. Not necessarily exactly, and sometimes it's not even true. Sometimes it bounces all over the place, but if the dot has been on the screen for 3 frames, that is correct. So this is the first frame the dot will be on the screen. You see at the very bottom. This is actually the third frame. I advanced 2 frames because I saw that the rupee counter blinked. That means I advanced 2 frames. So this is actually correct. So I can show a bunch of ways that I can tell if it's the correct speed. So again, side hop, charge an item slide. So this is 1 frame early. Let me reset that. I don't even know what happened there. So another thing, I'm not sure if the cannon went off, but if the cannon goes off, reset the item slide, because cannons going off can mess up door clip because it bounces the dot way up. So be careful of that. But so I could see I need to advance more frames because the dot is at the bottom. 1 more. This is the correct frame. So this is when to hit ZL. So I'll show it again because you'll hit ZL and I'll show the rest of the trick. But you have to make sure your speed is correct. So there, this is when I would hit ZL. I'd probably advance 1 more and then hit ZL. As long as the dot is in the center of the screen, you want to be advancing frames. You want to be as very careful as possible. So I'm actually timing start presses. I'm doing start, 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 start to advance frames. So you have to be pretty good at pause buffering for this trick. So it does take a lot to get good at pause buffering, but you don't need to be perfect at pause buffering. It's just the better you're at pause buffering, the more consistent you'll be because you'll have a much better idea of your speed. But you don't have to be perfect with it because the beauty of this trick is you could be 1 or 2 frames off and it'll still work. It'll just take longer. So, but after we get speed, so let me show it again. Everything that I've done so far. I went into this corner. I pulled out grappling hook. I backed into the corner and aimed the dot around here. I then performed a side hop. While he's twirling the grappling hook, I side hop, let go of ZL midair, so he pulls it out automatically. I didn't pull out the grappling hook. He just did it automatically because I let go of ZL in midair. Now I item slide forwards and then hit up left pretty early, but not too early and not too late. So that after I hold up, I wait, and then I see the dot goes off the top of the screen and then comes up from the bottom. And then once it's hit the center, not there because it just flashed onto the center of the screen, keep going until you see it come up. And then right there, that's the correct frame. So this is how far I've gotten so far of knowing when to hit ZL. So now, I will now just hold ZL and do not let go of ZL. And I will then start adjusting the camera while holding up, like this. And so the last and final part is getting the angle that Link is moving in, because what I'm actually doing is I'm holding an angle, so I'm holding an angle with a dot, but now I'm getting Link to move. See, I'm getting Link to move in different directions. If I move the camera, he'll be moving in different directions. I need to get it so that he's actually moving at the correct direction so that he hits the door. So if he doesn't hit the door, he'll actually go possibly too far to the right. Usually too far to the right is the problem, and he'll land on the stairs right here. So if your angle's too far to the right, you can land on the stairs. If it's too far to the left, you usually don't land on the stairs, and I will explain that as well. But the point of this next part, the cue you're looking for, is you want it so that when he's running, you want him to be running forwards, and you want to go as far left as possible so that you don't see this animation. See this animation where he's going... It's kind of like shuffling his feet like this. You don't want this animation. You want the running forwards animation like this. So I'm actually holding the same up angle, holding ZL, and I'm adjusting the camera until I can see this. Well, don't climb. Until I can see he's running forwards, so like this. So he's going up left. So, but the thing is, doesn't matter where your up angle is, as long as your camera is correct. And your up angle is decent. Like it doesn't matter what angle you hold as long as your camera angle is correct relative to your up angle, if that makes any sense. Like I can hold left and I can still get this to work as long as I adjust the camera properly. But I wouldn't recommend holding left because that's really, really awkward for hitting angles. Just hold any kind of up angle and adjust the camera is what I recommend. You can adjust your up angle instead, but I like adjusting my camera because I feel like I can get fine-tuning. But yeah, so again, the visual cue for after you've hit ZL is you want him to be running forwards, but you want him to be moving as far left as possible that he's still running forwards. You don't want him to be doing this animation at all, because this animation, he can just hop in place for literally no reason. There is a reason, but it's completely random. It depends on his speed decay. The trick can completely fail, and that is not good, and you don't want that. But sometimes it does work, and it's good, but it doesn't always work. So again, I will show off. I did the side hop. I don't remember if I did, so I'll do it again. The side hop, and then I'm side forwards, hit up, up left, pause. Now the camera, the dot went off the top of the screen. It's going to come off from the bottom. That's 1, that's 2, and that's 3. So now we can just hold ZL and start adjusting the camera until he's running forwards like this. He's running forward, see? That is good. And now, if everything worked, you'll get a beautiful door clip like this, and he actually is inside of the door. You can actually go directly to the loading zone. And that's what we'll do. I could spend more time on door clip, but I think I should just go and talk about the rest of the run, because there is quite a lot left. If you have questions about door clip, do not hesitate to ask. But so now we have finished the overworld phase of the run. That is the final trick of the overworld phase. We'll no longer be on the Great Sea. We'll no longer be there. We'll actually spend the rest of the speedrun in Hyrule, because we're going to perform the epic trick known as barrier skip to go to the end of the game without having to do anything else. Coming up also is a trick known as Helmrock skip. There are 2 ways to do Helmrock skip that I recommend trying. The fastest way, which I recommend the most, is we're actually going to we're going to be going behind Helmrock, and then we're going to be climbing up and then making it so he does a fast turnaround as he climbs up. And I'll show what that looks like. But if you're not comfortable doing that, the absolute easiest way is to just damage down. You can, if you have if you have 1.5 heart or less, his hitbox will kind of change, and it makes this trick unbelievably free to get the clip. So it's whatever you prefer, but I will show off both methods. But we will not be fighting Hemrock. Okay, so for this fight, you could roll up these stairs, but it is very, very slow. What I actually recommend doing, and this is what I do, is I recommend doing a left to right item slide, and then hit right, and then hit ZL. And then I recommend steering this analog stick and just hold up left. If you hold up left, he'll just go on his own. And then you want to get behind Hemrock right here. And then you could roll, but I like pulling grapple hook and putting it away. You can pull Windmaker as well, either one. But we're going to climb up here, and you want to get the camera right behind Link. And you want to get him to start the climbing animation. So by that I mean not this, but as he starts climbing. You want to then hold it down. And down as in relative to Link. So you don't want the camera here. If the camera's here, you got to hold up. So if the camera's here, you got to hold down left. You want to get Link to do a very fast turn as he climbs. So he climbs and you hold down. And you see he actually turned around. So the turn that I'm referring to is this kind of turn. See this is a quick turn, like this turn. Not this turn. This is a slow turn. If you get this kind of turn, the trick will fail. And you'll just have to item slide back like this. But if you do not want to do this trick, so, you know, if you're failing it a lot like this, because you're getting a slow turn, see how it turns slowly? You can damage down on the spikes, or you can let Helm Rock hit you, but if you are completely damaged down like this, you can actually item slide back like this. You can just climb up and not worry about anything. You don't have to do anything. You just climb up and you clips. But anyway, after you are clipped, you want to get behind this spike right here. You see this spike right here? This is the one you want to get behind. You want to crawl under the spike, and then you can go into first person to see what you're doing. You don't have to. You can actually just zoom the camera down like this. And you want to go past the spike. So if you're aiming right here, so you're like, see this like little ledge I'm aiming at? I'm actually aiming directly at it, and then I'm rolling under. Well, I'm crawling under it, and then you want to get up right here, and you can go into first person. It might help. You want to go directly forward. So I'm actually going to jump up onto the ledge like this. I'm actually on the ledge right now, and then you want to carefully. I recommend going in first person with this. Move your weight around the edge. If you go too far left, you'll fall out of bounds. You can usually jump slash in, but it depends on where you are. If you go too far right, and you end up right here, that's it. You can't get back. You have to do the entire thing all over again. So be careful not to fall off. So I'll show the trick again. So climb up, hold down, because I did not have the right health to do that. Also, you want to make sure you put your item away. Also shield like that. So go here, jump up, and then I like going in first person and moving around all the way across the top, and then you want to just jump up here. You can hop up, you can jump up. It's faster to roll up. Also, yeah, beware targeting, or also just target him out. So, okay, let's just, let's do the trick again. One more time, and then we'll move on. Oh, I got wrecked. Here we go. Go under here. Like that. And then we'll just item slide the rest of the way. Be careful not to clip here. If you do this item slide, be very careful not to clip. You charge an item slide forwards and then hit ZL, but don't charge too much speed. Like if you charge like this, you can clip. Not always, but sometimes you can clip. So the surefire way not to clip is to charge one more like this, and then item slide this way, and then you want to stop the item slide and go in the door right here. So now you may notice that Link has the Master Sword. We never got the Master Sword, but this cutscene gives us the Master Sword, so very, very cool. But coming up is the biggest sequence break in the entire speedrun, and then I'll go over the rest of what's going on. But we're going to be performing Barrier Skip. Barrier Skip requires a very, very precise angle. There are around 65,000 angles in Wind Waker HD, and only about 15 of them work for Barrier Skip. So very, very precise. I'll explain the visual cue that I use for it. And then after Barrier Skip, there will be Trial Skip. We'll be in Ganon's Tower early. Very, very early. And then after Trial Skip, we'll be fighting Papa Ganon and then performing the final trick of the run, Morth Hover, into the Ganondorf fight. Okay, so barrier skip is coming up soon after this lovely cutscene. There's not much to this cutscene besides just mashing. But before we do barrier skip, we're gonna do a trick called Hyrule Clip or Castle Clip, whatever you would like to call it. And basically, we're gonna be skipping going inside the Hyrule Castle because it's slow. You can just go inside the Hyrule Castle if you want, but this is way, way faster. Even if you fail it several times, it's still faster. But basically, we're going to be going to a certain staircase, and we're going to be aiming at a certain angle. We're going to be aiming to the left, like about 45 degrees. And then we're going to go slowly down the stairs with an item slide. And that will clip us all the way across the barrier, which is faster than just going through the castle. So I'll show that off in a bit. After that, we're going to do something called a knockback cancel, which is frame perfect. There's only one frame for it. You want to pull Windmaker on the very last frame of his invincibility frames, so we're actually going to hit the barrier on purpose. And then we're going to go into the knockback area, and then we're going to pull Windmaker on the very final frame of his red flashing. So basically on the first frame of him getting hit again. And then that will cancel the knockback, and then we can perform the final part, which is actually getting past the collision, which requires a very, very precise setup. So after you get out of the boat, you can roll over here, and then you want to aim a little bit to the left, like here, 45 degrees to the left. We're actually going to be clipping on this slope right here, this staircase. And so you want to move slowly down the staircase, because that gives you the correct angle, so that even if you hit the barrier, when you clip through, you will still land on the bridge. So about here, and then I charge a little bit, and then go slowly down the stairs, like that. And so that looked like a pretty good angle. If I had too much speed, I would have just gone to the bridge right here. If you have a bad angle, and you see that you're too far to the right, too far to the left, you can pull Leaf, and then Leaf back to the bridge. But if you void out, you can just try it again really quickly. So now that we're here, I'm actually going to hit the barrier, and I need to pull Windmaker on the very precise frame, which is the frame that he gets hit. So if I'm just walking into the barrier, you can see when I need to pull it. So when he's getting hit. So ready? Now. That's when I need to pull Windmaker. Now. So I'm actually going to pull Windmaker. It's precise, though. So I pressed it too early. Sorry, too late. Too late again. So that was the correct frame. You can see he's stuck in the knockback. For this, I very much recommend timing it. I know a lot of people mash it. They just mash the Windmaker button. But the problem with mashing the Windmaker button is that you cannot time the Windmaker every single frame. So if you mash the button, the best consistency you're going to get is every other frame, that's 50%. But if you time it, you can get up to 100% consistency with frame perfect timing. While frame perfect mashing gives you 50% consistency. So I do not recommend mashing. But this is tricky, because if the Windmaker is in your hand, you actually pull it a couple frames faster. So the timing is actually different here. So if I pull the Windmaker, I'll probably be too early. So now I'm too early with probably the same timing. I do a different setup. I do a backflip after if I have the Windmaker in hand. And it's a different timing. So you gotta learn both. You gotta learn with the Windmaker in hand, so it's not in my hand. I just go like this. These are all too late. That's too early. You can see he's still flashing. There we go. You want it with in his hand or not in his hand. So once we're here, you want to make sure you don't walk out of the invincibility. As long as you're against the invisible wall, which is past the knockback, which doesn't deal any damage, by the way, you can then perform the next trick. So you want to go into this corner right here, and there's a very, very precise cue for this, but I will show off the cue. So you want to go here, make sure gyro is off. Do not turn, make sure gyro aiming is off. And then you want to go into first person by tapping on the right stick. You want to aim all the way up, and then if you see the top left, I will zoom very, very far into the top left because this is very, very precise. So I'll keep zooming into the top left until it is pretty close. I get very close to the TV for this because this is pretty hard to see if you're not close to the monitor. So we're almost all the way zoomed in. Now you can see how precise it is because I have to zoom so far in. But so you can see here, this is probably zoomed in enough. I will zoom in a little bit more actually. I will show what I'm looking at, so I got an image for you. I'm actually looking... Well, you need to keep that steady. I'm actually looking at this right here. See this little texture right here? I'm actually going to aim it at the top of the screen. You want to make sure your monitor is actually lined up proper. Like, you want to make sure your monitor screen doesn't cut off any pixels, or else this won't work. But I like to take... See this little part right here? I moved the lighter. Let me... get rid of it. I want to put that part at the top of the screen, around here. So that's a little too high. Move it a little lower. Right here. So you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's this pixel right here. Right there where the lighter is pointing to, this pixel right there. That is the pixel that I'm looking for. This little outstanding pixel, which is created by, I'm going to move it too high now. See that this part right here, this little bright area right here, this is what I'm trying to cut off so there's only one pixel remaining. So that's too high, you can see. I'm moving a little lower. That's too low. And that is correct, because you can see one pixel there. It's very, very dim, but I would assume you can probably see it. It's very, very hard to see. If you're having trouble seeing it, you can try changing your... you could try changing the angle you're looking at your monitor, or you can try changing the settings. But you can see there's that one outstanding pixel there. I'll show it one more time. It's right here. This is what I'm looking at. This thing right here, where the arrow is pointing towards. That's what I'm looking at. This is the correct angle. This should work. So after you get the angle, let me zoom back out. This takes a lot of practice, so if you're not seeing it, it's probably likely that you have your monitor not calibrated properly, so you're cutting off pixels, because that was my problem when I was learning this. So after you are done with this, you can get out of first person, and I like to pull Windmaker here. The reason I like to pull Windmaker here is it prevents you from doing a difficult trick, difficult part of this trick that I don't like doing, which is converting to positive. It's not difficult, but I don't like doing it, and I don't recommend it. You don't need a lot of speed for this. You want to pull Grappling Hook, move forward a little bit, forward to the right, and you're going to item slide backwards and just charge a little bit of speed. Not a lot, just a little bit. Like that, and that should be good. You do not need a lot of speed for this. But it's kind of lenient, but if you do it correctly, he should go through. I probably did not have enough speed. There you go. So, yeah, there I did not have enough speed. He stopped in time. So, things to note. It's possible you can gain too much speed for this, and I want to show what it looks like if you gain too much speed. So, I'm going to get the setup again real quick. So, if you get too much speed, this is what it'll look like. When you get to the center, he actually won't clip, because there's such thing as too much speed for this. you'll see that there'll actually be some kind of shaking going on. There's still no shaking, but he's not clipping, even though I do have the correct angle. But when you start getting close to the correct speed, you'll start to see this little jittering going back and forth. I actually probably should gain a little bit less speed. Okay, we'll see if that gives you the jittering. I probably do not have the correct angle. Let me actually, hold on. I don't think this is the correct angle, which means I can't show it off properly. Oh wait, no, it is the correct angle. Oh, anyway. I wasn't getting it to work, but if you are barely too much speed, you'll see Link, like, shake back and forth. That means you have to wait a little bit longer, and then it'll lose enough speed to clip through. Sadly, I could not show it off there, but I think the speed's a little precise for me to get it. I was getting too much speed most of the time. But anyway, once you're here, you can then item slide to Ganon's castle, which you don't have to if you don't want to, but you just charge speed, hit ZL, and then be careful here. Do not fall off. You can clip here as well. But here, we want to do a target slash to the castle. So, again, left to right item slide, and then you want to aim for the right side of this wall, because this loading zone has no back to it. So we actually want to hit the right wall, which will stop Link's speed. If you go all the way through, let me store my position, because I'm going to go flying. If I just aim directly into the loading zone, well, that was not enough speed. Basically, if I had more speed, it would have happened. I would have gone through the loading zone, which is not good. You want to aim for the right wall. I kind of got lucky there, but that's not what you want to do. You want to aim for the right wall so you get stopped by it. I will actually show what it looks like if you do it wrong. So, you have the wrong speed, this will happen. And you do not want that. We're in the middle of nowhere. We're just in the middle of nowhere. We don't want that. Instead, we want to aim for the right wall. And that should work. And you can pull Leaf in midair. It makes you enter faster. So now we can just item slide here, and now we're now at Ganon's Tower. So we performed the biggest sequence break in the entire game, and now we can finish out the game. So now we're going to get bombs. We finally get bombs at this point. So what you want to do is you want to item slide back into this corner right here, and then just hold ESS up, or you can let go of it and just hit B and target so you fall and you don't grab this door. Now we actually want to go in the door because we're actually going to get bombs down. So the bombs are actually in a coffin here. It's actually back and to the left, but there's a redead here and back over there. So we actually want to veer to the right and then to the left. You can roll here, but I recommend item sliding, so you can just go like this. This coffin. It's the one right before the end, right here. So we got it, and you see I didn't trigger any of the redeads. So there's a redead right over there, but I avoided the coffin so it never fell. And now we can just item slide directly back. Let me get magic, or not magic hearts, because I don't have any. But yeah, you see the redead is there. I would have, if I went directly through the middle, he would have caught me like this, which makes a very high-pitched screeching noise. So that's why I went right to left. So anyway, now we got bombs, so I can now equip bombs. I now have them, 60 bombs. The reason it's 60 is because I got the bomb bag upgrade. If you have 0 bombs, that means you forgot to get the bomb bag upgrade, and your run is over. So anyway, we're going to go back through, and then now I'm going to kill the Bokoblin. You can just spin attack him off, like this, and he's gone. You really want him dead because he'll mess up the next trick. So now I'm going to get magic. There's magic here, but it's every other skull. So, you can just memorize which one gives you magic if you need it, because this trick does need magic. So we're going to go all the way back up here, and then we're going to item slide back into this corner, but this time we're going to actually hold up and grab the top of this door frame. So now that we're here, we can actually roll to the left, and then let go of the stick so he drops like this, and then we're going to perform trial skip. So we're going to scoot to the left, and then we're going to climb up so that he's all the way in the corner. And now we're going to do a lot of inputs, but this is basically a ledge clip. A ledge clip is where Link, while he's grabbing an object in a 3-frame window, when his legs go straight, if you hold towards the object, it'll actually push against Link and it'll push him out of bounds. Because for some reason Link's collision is not being detected, so he can just go out of bounds and we can leaf to the loading zone. So to do that, we're going to pull bomb, we're going to press B, we're going to backflip, leaf, cancel leaf, hit right when Link's legs go straight, and then go out of bounds and leaf. So bomb, B, backflip, leaf. I think I pressed leaf too early. Yeah, I pressed leaf too early. Let me do that again. Okay, so once again. Bomb, B, backflip, leaf. And then you want to aim into the corner and then let go of leaf. And then wait until his legs go straight. Like this. And then hit right. Now he's going out of bounds, and then you want to pull leaf. And then leaf backwards, and you could turn around and then go to the loading zone. Like this. And that is how you perform trial skip. So now we have not completed any of the trials, and now we can item slide up and go to the end. For the sake of time, I will not be going back over trial skip. It is not that hard to learn. If you are having problems, again, you can ask questions in the Discord or in the comments. So now we're going to go to the door on the right over here. It's faster to item slide, and we're going to now be going to the maze to get light arrows. So light arrows are always in the exact same location, actually. The maze pattern is always the same. You memorize it. It is back, left, straight, left, right, straight. You don't have to kill any of the fan again. So the first direction is back. It's faster to item slide through it. And then left. And then straight. Oh. If that happens... So that happened because I was item sliding while he spawned. It kind of messes up the camera. So you gotta be careful of that, because I was a little too slow. But anyway, straight. And then left. And then right. And then on the last one, we want to pull a bomb. But this is straight. We want to pull a bomb and then press A immediately. And it skips the animation of him looking back at the door. And now, so Phantom Ganon has 3 patterns. If he spawns a blue ball, you want to go under him, and then you can actually equip bottle and swipe it, or you can just spin attack, or you can slash it with your sword. Any of those work. If he spins in a circle, you want to go around right here and spin attack all of the balls. But if he spawns a red ball, that is a red ball. And then the third one is this one, which is actually the best RNG. He always spawns behind you, so turn around and slash the one behind, and then slash him again. So again, red ball, you go to the back of that circle, charge a spin attack, and spin all the balls back. Blue ball, go right under him, and then hit it back, and then hit him when he hits the ground for both of those. And then if he spawns in a circle, he's always behind where Link is facing, so turn around and go backwards and slash him. And this is the light arrows chest. So now that we have light arrows, we can equip our light arrows. We're going to need them for the next rooms. And you switch by pressing ZR, so you pull out light arrow, ZR until you're at light arrows. And we're good. So now we need to hit Phantom Ganon with a light arrow. To make him spawn, we have to move forwards, towards the door. Towards here. Like, if we stay still, nothing happens. We go backwards. Well, actually, I guess it worked. But yeah, same thing as the last one. But yeah, go towards the door because you have to go there anyway. But yeah, just make sure you don't go in the direction I went. And yeah, so he spawned behind me. So, and I was looking this way, but the camera was looking this way. So I just turned Link around and shot, and it worked. So now, it's faster to throw the sword at the door, like that. And then, Grand Staircase is pretty tricky. Pretty tricky to learn. But if you copy the movement I do for Grand Staircase, you can get it correct. So I'll show off what I do for Grand Staircase. It uses a lot of double hits. So I get the magic. I hold forward while I'm sliding, so it helps me control. And then if you're quick, you can actually double hit these guys like this. Like that. Actually, I need hearts here. I'll explain why. You can double these guys, get that magic, and then I actually need hearts here. And let me explain why. Because if you see I have 2 hearts right now, you actually want to enter this fight optimally with 2 1/4. It's unfortunate I actually got hit, because 2 1/4 is the minimum you need to get magic from keys. And magic from keys is mandatory because we have enough magic for, I believe, 8 shots. Pop again requires 9. So we just barely do not have enough magic for every single shot. So we actually need a heart. But optimally, now don't do this if you're in my situation, but optimally, while you were doing other things, like waiting for the light arrows chest to spawn, we would go to 2 1/4 heart. Because this is the lowest damage possible. We actually need to be damaged down, because we're going to need to be getting hit during the next fight to do the final trick of the game, which requires dying. So anyway, we're going to enter the fight. We're going to watch the cutscene. Make sure light arrows are equipped, because the very first shot is consistent, and you can't do it unless you have light arrows already selected. So as far as popping in goes, popping in is one of the hardest parts of the speedrun. Not the hardest part, but fairly difficult. Mainly because of first phase. First phase is the worst phase. You have to skip boomerang, and that requires very precise shots. I would definitely recommend practicing pop again in first phase, but basically, I mean, the way I can describe you do it, besides the first shot, which is consistent, I can show you what I do. I aim up and to the left and shoot right as the phase starts, and you can catch him on his very first wag, and that one's consistent. But every other shot is not consistent. You kind of want to look at what side the tail is wagging on, and you can hit that part of the tail when it is. But if you are not comfortable with prediction shots, you can wait until he attacks. And that's what actually I'm going to do during this fight. I'm not going to do any of the prediction shots where I try to guess where he's going to go. Those are very difficult. I'm going to wait for him to start punching me, and then I can then attack the tail, well, shoot the tail, while he's moving slowly, and I wait for it to move towards his outside, and then that's when I can shoot the light arrow, and it'll hit it. And it's a lot easier because he's not moving. So that is what I will do. This is the easiest way to do the fight, but it is also not the fastest. The fastest is prediction shots, but again, you have to remember every single option you have. So I will show off the very, very first shot, and then I will just do the backup shots. So that shot is consistent. Aim up and to the left, and it'll always work. But now I'm going to wait for him to punch me, and I'm going to hit the tail when it slows down. So that shot is a lot easier than all the others because he's not moving. Because he stops to punch. And there you go. There's a decently fast first phase despite not doing all of the harder shots. So those are the easiest shots to hit because those are actually consistent. But all the other shots are much harder to hit if you want a faster pace pop again. So for the second phase, there is a setup known as Crypt Shot, which I do recommend learning as a beginner. You want to hit the spider as he's going up. So what you want to do is you want to wedge yourself in this corner right here. So see where I am right now? This is where you want to be. You want to pull the arrow and aim right here. You want to shoot and then shoot again, and it's a 5-frame window. And then you want to switch to regular arrows and shoot the keys, and then get the magic. This is a 50% chance for each. And then you want to get hit, and then you want to shoot him again. So the second phase, as long as you can get Crypt Shot, and you want to damage down by the end because he deals a full heart when he hits you. You definitely want to do that. For this phase, I recommend hitting him first, but you obviously don't have to do this, but you want it while he's going slowly. It's not that hard to hit his tail. Unless you're bad like me. So let's try that again. You can also spin attack him. I got hit, so I'm probably going to spin attack him, but let's say you're scared like me, right? Well, I'm actually not scared. But let's say you're really scared and you don't know what to do. You can actually slash a Morph for a heart. If you're worried about dying, you can slash a Morph for a heart, like this. And get a heart, if he doesn't come towards me. But the free thing about this fight is that if you can bomb his face, so just go right up to him, and then pull a bomb. And then you can shoot his tail. It's really, really easy. So that's what I recommend. So one more hit, just pull a bomb, and he'll go right towards you. After he hits a wall 3 times, he'll always go towards you, and you can hit the tail. But yeah, you want to make sure you're damaged down after the 3rd phase, because if you don't damage down all the way, you're going to have to spend time damaging down with bombs. So if you're not comfortable damaging down all the way, you don't have to, but it is the fastest to do that. So finally, we will come to what you might consider the hardest trick in the entire run, besides possibly Door Clip. This trick might take a while to learn. Depends. Some people struggle, but it involves mashing a lot. I am not referring to the rope climb, which does require mashing, but I'm referring to the zombie hover, which requires big damage down the way. So we need to be at a quarter heart, so I'll get to a quarter heart. And then here I'll explain the rope climb. You don't have to do this, but if you want to climb this rope faster, I recommend I pause the game when I go on the rope, and I hold ZR because this allows you to go faster, and I alternate between, not faster, higher, and I alternate between A and B. And you can go pretty high up the rope, but I won't go all the way up, but you can see I can go very far. I have a visual cue for how high to go. You don't have to go all the way up the rope if you don't feel like it, but that is faster than regular climbing. So this next trick is also not mandatory, but I don't find it that hard either. I call it chain climb. For here, you want to go on the right side of this chain. Target it like this, so make sure Link is not moving, target. And then jump slash, and then pull Windmaker, put it away, backflip 3 times, and then you can grapple the spot. You have to let go of the rope at a certain time, like right here, right when he starts swinging. But if you don't want to do that, just grapple the thing normally. Come over here. You can get magic if you need it. There's magic right here. I like getting it sometimes. And then now we're going to perform the probably the hardest trick in the entire run. So for this trick, this is Morph Hover. You can actually break this pot first if you would like to, because now you don't have to climb again, just in case you fail this. But so for this trick, I like to turn off gyro, and I just go into first person up to a Morph, and we're actually going to hit it, and it's going to latch onto us the same frame that hits us. And there's a visual cue to get to the correct position so that this is consistent. I go into first person, and then I move with just the left stick, not the right. Don't aim up and down or else it kills it. Just go into first person, and then move, and then go until you can see this visual cue right here where the left... You see that spike on the left? It's basically just invisible, or like half of it is cut off. You can also look at... I like to look at the dark texture on the spike. Show the dark texture off that I'm referring to. This dark texture right here, I like to make it so that the bottom of the screen is cutting off half of it. So let me show off what I'm talking about. This dark texture... Stop moving the thing. I'm moving the wrong... There we go. No, that's not what I meant to do. There we go. This dark texture right here on the Morph spike, because it has like a light texture and a dark. I like so that half of it is cut off with the bottom of the screen. And this is the correct visual cue. So when you get here, what I like to do is I like to cancel the first person, then immediately hit the home button, like this. And then I hold up, ZL, and B. You can't see it because the data viewer is not functioning because I've home buffered. But when you hit the home button again and hold these buttons, it'll do all of them on the same frame. Like that. And the Morph will latch onto you. So, if you did not do this correctly, you can get different results. If the Morph latched onto you, but you didn't slash it, you were too far forward. And if the Morph didn't latch onto you, but you slashed it, then you were too far back. So you can see the Morph died for the Master Sword and latched on at the same time. This is very important because if you just shoot a Morph normally, it drops nothing. But if you shoot this kind of Morph, it'll drop a heart, which is very, very good. So we're going to go behind the Warp Pot, and we're going to roll it off, and we have to quickly leaf it, because we're going to actually blow it up onto the top platform, like that. It's RNG what direction it goes in. That was pretty good RNG, but sometimes it doesn't have good RNG, and you got to keep trying. But we actually need to maneuver the Morph up onto the top platform, which requires a lot of leaf blowing. There's a lot of RNG to how the Morph moves, based on how high it moves, how far back it moves, a lot of things. Also, keep in mind that you can be a little bit to the left, and you can be a little bit to the right. See, I'm a little bit to the left versus the right, and it'll still work. You can also have the Morph be behind you, and you can blow it forwards. So the leaf hitbox is very big, so do not underestimate how big the hitbox is. So now that the Morph is here, we want to then back it into this corner, right up. I'll show exactly where we want it to get. We want to get at the edge of the beam, and so I'm going to inch my way forwards because the Morph actually moves based on Link's speed. So if I'm sidewalking, the Morph doesn't move. You can crawl too, but it's slower than sidewalking. Sidewalking is really easy for moving around and having the Morph not follow you. But if you walk, you want to kind of tap it so that he's moving every time you tap. See, I need to get the Morph a little bit further. Right here is good. So the point of this entire setup is to get the Morph right here, and then you don't want to move the Morph anymore. And it's moving only when Link goes fast. So if I sidewalk, now I can move anywhere I want, and the Morph won't move, which is really nice. And the way you could tell it's in the correct position, if it's, at this corner right here, is if you can kind of see a spike hanging off. So I can see some of the spikes hanging off, so it's correct. You kind of get the feel for this. So now I want to sidewalk, and I want to kind of go to this golden beam right here. See this? I want to go under this beam. I want to be kind of in the center of this beam right here. So I'm in the center under that golden beam. Now what I want to do is I want to aim the bow at the Morph. And so we're about to perform a zombie hover. If you are not comfortable performing zombie hovers and mashing quickly, I recommend doing this strat that I'm about to show. If not, there's another strategy that I will not cover in this video. But you want to set up the angle first as looking at the Morph, and you want to aim. See this red line right here? You want to aim at the red line where the Morph is. Now you want to put it away by pressing A. You want to pull a bomb, put the bomb down, aim at the Morph, slash the bomb, and then I will go over how to start a zombie hover. So we're gonna aim, we're gonna put a bomb down, we're gonna aim again, we're gonna slash, and then we're gonna press A and home at the same time as Link is standing up. So I pressed A and home. You could press home a little bit later, but the point is that I'm also holding ZL, by the way. The point is that we're performing the initial jump slash and we're buffering it. The reason I recommend buffering it is that it's the most consistent, in my opinion, and then you can just worry about mashing B. So I will not go over explaining how to zombie hover. There is another tutorial that will explain mashing B, but this part you are just mashing B, and you want to try to get up to the Morph as quickly as possible. Oh, did I not shoot the Morph? I forgot to shoot the Morph. Let me, 1 second. Yeah, actually, hold on. I'm gonna do something weird. So, I was about to home quit, but then I realized, that I cannot home quit, because I realized that I cannot home quit, so instead I have to do this. Because if I home quit, well, not home quit, I was going to think of save warping, but the reason I cannot save warp is because if I have a Morph on me and I go through a loading zone, I get something called Morph glitch. So I had to do that and kill the Morph and get it off me, because if I had not done that, then the Morph I would have not been able to roll off the Morph. So that's another thing, a time to mention Morph glitch. If you cannot roll a Morph off of you, it's probably because you had a Morph on you at the end of Pup-Again. So you also want to make sure you don't have a Morph on you at the end of Pup-Again, or else you could possibly get something where you can't roll a Morph off of you and well, it's very hard to do Morph Hover if you have Morph Glitch. But what you can do is you can bonk the warp pot, and that is the only way to save it. So I do not recommend having a Morph on you at the end of Pup again, or else it can mess up this trick. Let me set this up once again and show off the final version with the zombie hover, where I don't even think I shot the Morph. Make sure you shoot the Morph, kids. I forgot to shoot it, but you do want to shoot the Morph. I forgot to mention that. So the Morph is here. Move into the corner. I think it's gonna fall. Yeah. So if it falls, you can just go right next to it in the leaf, like this. You don't have to go behind it. Unfortunately, that sometimes happens, but it's not that bad to back it up. There we go. That should be fine. See, you could see a spike off the edge. Again, go in the middle of the platform, under this golden platform right here. Aim at the Morph, put the bow away, place a bomb, shoot the Morph, press B, A and home at the same time while holding ZL. As you get up, it's a 10-frame window, and then we're gonna press the home button and mash B. And it requires about 11 times per second to get this. Don't drop too far on the heart, just make sure you're kind of a little bit low, or else if it starts blinking and you drop on the heart, you could die if you drop too fast, so be careful of that. But after we're up here, we can go into the Ganondorf fight. I'm actually not going to watch this cutscene, because I do not want to. I'm going to reload the map and show off this fight. We have 1 heart in this fight, so we want to not die. If he gets hit once, I'm just going to show. If he hits you once, you're dead. So, if he hits you, that's it, you're dead. So, I recommend getting hearts for this fight. I'm actually going to reload the map so that I have hearts, but I will show how to get Zelda hearts for this fight. For this fight, you want to make sure grapple is equipped before you enter the fight. Stand still and mash A at the beginning. Like that. So as the fight starts, you want to mash A. So you talk to her immediately. Then right after talking to her, you want to hold ZL and then press the grappling hook. And you can grapple her. You want to tap it twice. And then, so now we have hearts. If I didn't have hearts, that would have given me hearts, so I'll show it again. At the beginning of the fight, you want to mash A, and then target her, and then not moving, you press the grapple. So every time you talk to her, you may notice she shoots the light arrow. See, I talk to her, she shoots the light arrow. So you want to keep that in mind, that every time you talk to her, she shoots light arrows. So you can actually infinite stun lock him like that, if you want to, but it's faster to just hit him. So you can do jump slash quick spins on him, and then keep talking to her, and she'll stun lock him. So that's basically first phase, is just know that talking to her makes her shoot. Also, she needs to be behind him, or if she's in front of him, then he'll see her and he'll fly away. So for this phase, you actually need to parry him. So you need to stand away. You can hold your shield. Make sure he doesn't hit your shield, though. If he hits your shield, this is what will happen. He'll do this kick. And if I was holding shield, he just hit me. So watch this. If I'm shielding this attack, he'll just kick me, and it goes right through my shield. And that is an easy way to die, so you want to be very careful. But, so, you want to actually parry his big swing. So, that actually you cannot parry, but this one you can. You want to back away, you want to hit A, and you want to do a jump slash quick spin, and then you want to roll away. And then do it again, and then another jump slash quick spin, and then that's it. It only takes 2 times. So now, for the last phase, you want to talk to Zelda. Actually physically talk to her, and then you want to get away, and then you want to shield her attack, like this, and target him, and then you want to hit A on the final blow. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Wind Waker HD N8%, the beginner tutorial. I hope somebody, I hope this helps somebody. I hope somebody benefits from this tutorial. I obviously cannot go in full depth. There are tutorials that go in more depth than I do. But I wanted to give a quick overview for someone learning the game who's just picking it up to at least get a good idea of how to do the tricks, have something that helps walk them through everything. And this is the most up-to-date route currently. I wanted to make sure it was as up-to-date as possible. So let me know if you have any questions. You can actually come into my Twitch channel. I'll link my Twitch channel if you have any. Or you can ask in the comment section if you have any, but I probably is not the best place to ask. You can also join the Discord, and I will also put the link to the Discord in the description. So that concludes it for me. Good luck learning Wind Waker HD, and I hope you have a very good journey. And I'll see you next time. Bye.